2:13 a.m. inside the old St. Valentine Boys' Hostel. Violent knocking echoed through the corridors. The noise was coming from inside room 309, a room that had been boarded up, chained, and completely sealed for 15 years. There was no one inside to make that sound. Kabir, Aman, and Zoya followed the noise down into the hostel's basement. There, they found an old diary containing a single sentence written in blood. Jisne bhi fourth floor ka sach jana, wo zinda nahi bacha. Anyone who learns the truth of the fourth floor does not survive. As they read the warning, the basement lights began to fail. In the rhythmic strobe of the flickering bulbs, they saw a girl in white standing in the corner, her face severely burned. Then the light stayed on, and the corner was empty. The group came here for answers, but the hostel has already begun a sequence of events to keep them underground. Between the sealed room, the bloody diary, and the burned figure, the basement has become the starting point for a very specific, lethal game. Tucked inside the diary was a photograph from 2009, labeled Fourth Floor Investigation Team. It showed 4 students, but the person in the back row had their face violently scratched out with black ink, as if someone tried to erase their existence from the record. Aman stared at the defaced figure, recognizing the posture and the surviving details of the clothes. He realized he was looking at a photo of his own father, taken 15 years ago. As soon as Aman identified his father, the heavy basement door slammed shut with enough force to shake the walls, sealing the only exit. The connection to 2009 is no longer a coincidence. Aman is now standing in the same darkness his father tried to investigate over a decade ago, and the building has ensured he cannot leave until the current night is over. A child's voice began pleading for help from behind the masonry. Guided by the sound, Kabir and Aman pushed against a section of the wall, revealing a hidden door that opened into a secret room, bathed in a harsh, stationary red light. The walls inside are covered in hundreds of photographs. Each one captures a student missing from the hostel's records, and every single face is frozen in a state of extreme terror. Zoya found a photo pinned near the center that stopped her breath. It was a picture of herself, taken secretly from the shadows just the night before. An old tape recorder in the room provides a framework for these disappearances. This graph shows the data. Massive spikes in missing students occur at this hostel exactly every 10 years, suggesting an entity that requires fresh hosts on a fixed, decade-long schedule. The timeline ends at the present year, expanding into 3 distinct data points. Kabir, Aman, and Zoya are the specific targets selected to fill the requirements of the current 10-year window. The tape went silent, and a new voice began to whisper Kabir's name from the shadows. It was the voice of his mother, who had been dead for years. The entity is using Kabir's own grief to dismantle his composure. By projecting the voices of the dead, it forces the group into a state of panic where they can no longer trust their own senses. Aman, overwhelmed by the psychological pressure, lashed out at the crumbling wall of the secret room. As the brickwork gave way, a human skeleton tumbled out from the cavity. The skeleton's ID card identified the remains as Warden Rahul Sharma, bearing a stamp from 2009. This creates a physical paradox. Rahul Sharma is currently upstairs, serving as the active warden of the hostel. The man the students talk to every day has been dead for 15 years. Conventional survival logic has failed. In this building, the dead occupy positions of authority, and the people the students trust for safety are the very manifestations they should be running from. The group fled the basement, rushing toward the warden's office through a torrential storm. As they ran, the cries of trapped souls began to vibrate through the very masonry of the hostel walls. Lightning revealed the warden sitting in his office chair, finally showing his true face. Half of his head is a rotted skeletal remain, a remnant of a death that happened over a decade ago. He explained that he was the first victim of room 309. The entity does not just take lives, it consumes the souls of its victims, using them as eternal bait to lure in the next generation of students. The hostel began to physically unravel. Windows throughout the corridor shattered simultaneously. A scream tore through the ceiling, and the plaster on the walls began to weep fresh blood.
The elevator doors slid open to reveal the burned girl with pitch-black eyes. Behind her, a final, bloody message smeared across the mirror signaled their point of no return. The elevator doesn't lead back to the street or the lobby. Kabir, Aman, and Zoya have arrived at their destination. The fourth floor is the reality that has now